The most asked question is probably, Lamont, when should I start training my pup, or how should I start training my pup? What would be your answer to that?
Um, my answer would be to that is you actually start training your pup the day you get them. That pup is watching everything you do, when you feed, when you go to the restroom, when you go to work. So training actually starts from the time you pick up your pup. Now, your intentional training, your intentional, I want you to sit, I want you to do this. It should start from the day you get them. Because when you're not doing so, your dog is picking up behaviors whether you want them to or not that will have to be undone. And the more they do it their way, um, the more work it can take to undo it. So training definitely starts when you pick them up.
So the next part of that is, Lamont, I've never had a dog before. I've never had a Corso before. How do I start to train? Do I start with treats, or do I start with praise and reward? Do I start with discipline? These are questions that most people have, especially getting a new pup.
And that's true. Of course, we use praise and reward training. I think that's best for a pup at that age. But like anything else, you need a balance. The dog needs structure.
Hmm.
It doesn't need his head pulled off, or you don't have to pull your shoe off and beat the pup or anything like that. But it definitely needs to learn what no means. It needs structure. But the praise and reward system, in my opinion, is always best for that pup. You really start to see a difference when that pup hits 8, 10 months old and it's grown up happy.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess when I talk to a lot of trainers, it's depending on sometimes who trained them.
Yes.
And unfortunately, trainers get this idea that the way I do things
It's the right way.
is the right
It's
way.
the right way. Yes. Yes.
Me doing this as long as I've done it, one thing I've learned, there isn't a book that says this is the only and right way. Um, I'm big on what works for you when it's productive in the long run for that dog. Some people do well with no treats. Some people have a knack of getting in touch with that dog mental, and that dog loves them and wants to work for them without a treat. That love that they give them, that praise they give them, is their treat.
Yes.
Some people can't. Some people need that treat to break the ice. But you don't want to stay treat based because you're not gonna walk around with treats in your pocket. So that's always a question that the answer could be a plethora of things.
The answer has to be fit to the person handling the dog.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everybody, like for instance, I dealt with a lady where she's very even keeled. She's hello, how are you? She never gets excited about anything. So she tells her dog to sit. The dog sits. She says good. And the dog is like, is that all I'm gonna get?
Yeah.
But if she said good, and he had his favorite treat, it may work out.
Yeah.
But just saying good and you sound like the eye commercial man,
Yeah.
that dog is gonna be like, you know what? Um, I think I'm gonna do something else. You know.
So for the families that I I can't train, I got kids, I got daycare, I'm running after school activities, but this dog is running us ragged.
Yeah.
Um, how do you think a board and train would benefit a family?
It's the number one answer. Because at that board and train, that trainer is going to be focused on your dog. While you're working, your dog is in school.
Hmm.
It's summer camp for your dog.
That's right.
Your dog is going to go away and learn some things for 2 weeks and come back with some behaviors that you did not have that you can now do in 5 minutes time. You don't need an hour, or you don't need to have a section of your day focused to just focus on that pup and training that pup. When you get that pup home, if you can just 1 minute here, 1 minute there, commercials
Yeah.
right before bed, when I take you out to potty, go over a few commands. You'll have a dog that works well in your home now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's kind of like if my car needs the oil change,
Right. I can do it, but
I can do it, but it's somebody that is more proficient.
they got more
They
stuff to
got the
work with.
tools,
Yes.
they got the oil,
Yes.
and those kind of things versus me having to go to AutoZone and figure out what kind of oil and what kind of filter and get them to help me do that. Sometimes taking it to a person that truly has the passion to do what it is that you're asking them to do, that know the needs of the family, and they're considering the whole family. If you have children that are of age 10, 12, 6, that spend that time with this dog every day and can afford to be taught how to do the commands as well. Um, a board and train should benefit the family as a whole,
True.
not just mom or dad or just mom. It has to benefit the family as a whole, so everybody's on the same page, and that dog knows that, hey, I have to do this for everyone, not just a few, because that's what we run into the problem of
Exactly.
is good cop, bad cop in the house, um, and then everything kind of falls apart.
True.
Uh,
But let me say this to you, because I fell into this at one time. What do you think the benefits are using a trainer versus doing it yourself? Because my thing was I didn't want to put my dog in someone else's hand. I wanted my dog to work with me. I don't want my dog working with someone else. What do you think the benefit is of using a trainer versus doing it yourself?
as parents, it, you can kind of compare it to this. As a parent, I can teach my kids, but I send them to school every day.
Amen.
I send them to school every day and they have a teacher.
Amen.
Somebody that comes up with a lesson plan that prepares every day to teach this child something. Um, that's what I look at it when it comes to using a trainer. It's someone that specializes in training.
Yeah.
Um, my uncle, he trains spark plug, but he ain't no transmission man.
Right.
If my transmission go out, I ain't taking it to my uncle.
Right.
I'm gonna take it to the transmission shop,
Right.
because there's a specific design um, in that business to help you and your needs of what you might need help in. But doing it yourself, I'm not saying using a trainer is for everybody. Some people can take videos, they can read books, they can take notes, and they can work with their own dogs. What I think of when it comes to training is the dedication you're going to put in it. Whether you use a trainer or you do it yourself, you get what you put into
Right.
it. If you send it to a trainer, he does everything, he teaches you, and you go home and do nothing, it's not the trainer's fault.
Right.
It's the person who actually has that dog on a day-to-day basis that isn't willing to put in the time and the work and the effort. Um, it's just like having a child. What you put in is what you get out.
Facts.
Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, and every situation isn't going to be perfect, but it definitely has a better opportunity of working out better.
Yes, I agree. And you have a resource when you get in a jam
Absolutely.
you can bounce things off of and get help down the road.
Great trainers, they will help without necessarily making you put your hand in your pocket
Right.
every time you have
Right.
a situation.
Right.
I think that's what one thing we focus on with our board and train is actually trying to get people to come back and do their follow-up visits and truly get everything that they can out of the training and the board and train. So they'll have the knowledge when that dog is a year down the line or 2 years down the line. Um, they can work with the issues that might arise
I totally
because it's
agree.
constantly changing. A dog is constantly changing up
Well,
into a certain age.
well, let me bounce this off of you because I know we see this a lot. Comparing performance obedience versus basic obedience.
Yeah,
A lot of times, we get these calls. I want my dog doing this. I want my dog doing that. And it's based off of something they saw on YouTube.
absolutely.
Um, what would you? I don't necessarily want to say educate, but what would you have to share on comparing performance versus basic obedience?
The performance in sports training is a dedication that most normal people aren't going to give. They are not going to work that dog 2 and 3 hours and bond with that dog mentally to where that dog reads them, feels them. Most families don't need a sports train or a performance train
Correct.
because that dog is living as a family member and as a pet. It needs structure. It needs the obedience. It needs commands. It needs etiquette. It needs manners and things of that nature. That's definitely performance goes so many steps further than that.
Yeah.
If I got soccer practice, track practice, I can't spend 2 and 3 hours in the evening after I work the 8 hour shift.
Right.
And I guess the question is, it has to be, what's your purpose for that dog? If that dog is for the children, maybe a little protection if you're away from the house. A performance and sports training is over and beyond.
Yeah.
Because the people that do that, they dedicate themselves.
They
And
put
they
in a lot of
dedicate
work.
themselves day in, day out, 7 days a week. And you take your hat off to them. But like you said, we live in the world of YouTube, and people make great videos. And when they come in, they say, Lamont, I want my dog to do that. I said, well, I need you to be like that guy next to him.
Yes. And all the time we get those people, I want my dog to sick them.
Yeah.
And we saying, but your dog won't sit.
Yo,
You know.
you want a bite, but
Yeah.
you can't make him heal.
There you go. So after you tell him to bite, who's gonna stop him?
That's right. That's right.
You
Your
know.
dog don't even respond to his name. So the basic obedience, everybody needs that.
Yeah.
Even a person doing performance, they have to start with the basics.
Right.
And I try to get people to understand obedience training is a must for everyone, not just the people that are doing
Sports.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So true.
So overall, I feel training is a benefit to anyone that has a dog. That's whether you use a trainer or you use a resource of outside of a trainer, a book, a video, or anything like that. The point is, do something with your dog.
And I tell you what, if you don't believe us, watch Court TV.
Hey, on there.
Over the things that become simple, like my Chihuahua bit this man's ankle. How can you not control your Chihuahua?
Of all places.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah. But I hope this helps someone that might have had those questions, because those are some of the most commonly asked questions on your feedback. If we can help you in any way, this is James Curvin at KP Corsos. I'm Lamont Morgan at La Potenza County Corso. And any way that we can help you, feel free to reach out. You can reach us on Facebook, on Instagram. Our numbers all over the internet. We do a number of dogs every month, all breeds, and we focus on teaching the owner as well as the dog, because the dog is usually easy, the owner is the hard part.
Yes.
So once again, like I said, this is James Curvin. I'm Lamont Morgan. We thank you.
Thank you.